I'm Danielle Bain, and for news anytime, follow up online at ottawa.citynews.ca.
The Sam Laprade Show continues on City News 101.1 FM and 1310 AM.
Here at City News, we're following the story very closely, of course, out of Ukraine. This hour, Ukrainian forces are battling Russian troops on the edges of a city that is home to Europe's largest nuclear plant. The mayor of Enerhodar says this is a very challenging time for them. Of course, this city is a major energy hub that accounts for about 1/4 of Ukraine's power generation. It's just story after story coming out of Ukraine, and it's very, very heartbreaking. We wanted to speak with a couple of Ottawa residents about their connection. Yuri Polamidas and Dennis Karpov. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Yuri, tell me about your story. Are you from Ukraine originally and here in Canada, or were you born in Canada?
No, I was born and raised in Ukraine, finished high school in Ukraine, and I came to Canada for university about 20 years ago.
And tell me about your family, Yuri.
So I still have my older brother in Ukraine, all my nephews. I have all kinds of classmates from high school, from elementary school, middle school, relatives, cousins, uncles. Yeah, lots of family.
Yuri, have you been in touch with them?
Yeah, that's how my day starts. Every day, first thing I do is I check in, see how they're doing, and and then read the news. It's not very healthy, but that's what I do.
Well, Yuri, I'm thinking about you. And Dennis, what's your story and your connection to Ukraine? Were you born in Ukraine?
Yeah, actually, I was born in Ukraine and I moved to Canada like 5 years ago. I'm permanent resident here in Canada. My parents right now staying in Zhytomyr region. It's basically not that far from Kiev. My sister, she's hiding her family in the Kharkiv dungeons, right? And yeah, like she's reporting to me the information about the bombings and so on, as well as parents, because again, the Russian troops not that far from the place where I was born. And in the meantime, I have as well as Yuri a friends and my classmates and so on. So yeah, I have a lot of people over there I kind of staying in touch with and receiving updates every minute.
It's so heartbreaking to hear both of your recounts, especially around family and friends. It's so challenging. Dennis, is there a challenge to connect, or is their internet connection okay and phone connection okay?
It's actually funny. There is no problems with the internet connection. In the meantime, it's helping that much, to coordinate and help our people back there, because, all of them needs support in a different way. It might be food, it might be some, protection, some medical equipment and so on. And luckily, we have that ability to communicate with the volunteers and so on, and I'm actually also participating in these coordinations, and yeah, everything so far so good. So yeah.
Yuri, when's the last time you've been back to Ukraine?
2019, I believe. About a year, less than a year before COVID started. I think I was there October 2019. So less than 6 months before COVID.
I think during this time, obviously I've done lots of research about Ukraine and really understanding what an incredible country it is. What's it like to see the visuals we're seeing out of the country? Buildings being decimated. We know the casualty count is so high. How does that affect your heart, Yuri?
It's a very difficult question. I'll try to hold myself together. So it so happens that a lot of action, a lot of fighting happens around places where I grew up. On the first day of the invasion, they were trying to land at the airstrip just northwest of Kiev, called Kharkiv, and that's where my uncle worked. And all around that area. That's where my mother's from, or where my mother's buried. I'm kind of worried about what's going to happen with that. So it's all these places of my childhood. They're very, very close, and everything is. It's not sort of pictures that you read. This is the places where my cousins live and where I walked and played as a child. So very hard.
I'm sorry, Yuri. It's hard to hear. It's very challenging. Dennis, how about you? When's the last time you've been to Ukraine?
Oh, I visited Ukraine like 4 months ago. I'm actually when we had this COVID releases, and I got a chance to visit Ukraine. So I went there. Like I spent like a couple weeks over there. So yeah, like for me right now, it's really the big frustration. However, like I'm really like hearing the Yuri story and the people's reaction, I'm really encouraging like Canadians and so on, like not to say sorry to Ukrainians, like just wish us to be brave, like say us that you're standing with us, but don't be sorry right now. Like Ukrainian are the warriors, right? Like they really defeat like the country and the freedoms, not for their own like needs, but like literally for the entire world. Like, and this is really impressive. This is really amazing how those people kind of fighting right now against the enemy. And like, yeah, I'm literally have no kind of fear, no complaints or any kind of, I don't know, some mixed feelings about the situation. I'm really believe in our soldiers, in our like army and our people. So yeah, I don't even know. Like I'm just trying to be optimistic in this situation, and what we see right now, that this optimism is like makes sense, because as I said, like Ukrainians are a really strong nation.
Absolutely, and I have to say, last evening, I was watching television, watching the coverage, and all I could see, and if you were watching last night, you saw, residents and people standing in front of Russian forces.
Right.
They're standing in front of soldiers with guns. They are not armed. They are standing there saying, please go home.
Totally.
And Yuri, I'm going to tell you, and Dennis, I'm going to tell you, the thought that went through my mind is, we thought we knew what heroes were until seeing that. I thought I knew what a hero was. I didn't until last night. Yuri, did you happen to see that footage?
Yeah, I mean, we probably have a lot closer coverage. So there's a social media or communication platform called Telegram, and there are news feeds that basically report everything you're seeing in real time, most of it unfiltered. So actually, in the first few days, that was extremely difficult because you are seeing, in real time devastation and destruction, and the positive stuff is the heroism you're talking about, but it's all of that is very difficult, and so yes, we're definitely seeing. I'm sure Dennis is following the same Telegram channels that I am, and it's all coming in way faster. That's kind of maybe the good thing about social media, and the bad thing about social media, that you are really still connected and you're seeing it. And so we are absolutely very proud. We're a nation that it's really interesting how the whole country comes together, and it's always been sort of in our history. If you research the history, it's always been like that. And I think now that we finally got our independence 30 years ago,
and
nobody's going to give it up.
I would like to also add that we had like 8 years before this happened. So like we started the preparation like 8 years ago. So today, like from the kid till like the old people, they all know what they're fighting for and why they're doing. So despite the weapon, despite the how like Russian army looks like today, like people, they don't scare that much as Russian government believe, or Russian like whatever president believes. So yeah, it's like in our DNA right now. It's basically impossible to stop like those people to protect their lands.
And we've also seen, another sort of, hero of this story in terms of President Zelensky. I mean, Dennis, speak to me about the leadership you see. I mean, one leader we see sitting at a table that's, 40 feet long. He thinks he's godlike or something. And then you have your president, fighting. He's sitting with the soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
The difference between the two leaders is incredible to me.
Yeah. The biggest problem in this situation for Canada right now, that before all Ukrainian women believe that the Justin Trudeau is the most hottest man ever on this earth, but today like everything changed. I mean, we luckily have this president, like he acting wisely against the enemy, and he show like to each and everyone his courage and like the brave of Ukrainian army, and he showed that he stand with people. It's very important to people to kind of understand that like each and everybody in this boat today. And yeah, totally, like watching like the President Zelensky, the mayor of like major cities right now, which struggling defending their lands. It's like impressive how like those people kind of talk to nation, how those people talk to our like foreign friends. It's amazing, and it's like a good example to all other country who kind of under pressure of their tyrants to kind of think about some changes and think about like the freedoms and how those freedom works in the like normal countries like Ukraine, for example.
It's amazing to see how Canadians of course embrace. We know 1.4 million Ukrainian Canadians live in this country. We've seen support. I've seen flags. Obviously, people are making donations. We know the federal government is matching up to $10 million. I was at a store last night, Yuri, and I saw this woman, an elderly woman, and she had a little piece of paper, just looked like a little scrap of paper, but she had colored half of it blue and half of it yellow, and she had just pinned it to her jacket. And it brought tears to my eyes that here's somebody that's just trying to show, support in such a loving way. Are you seeing that love from Canadians?
Absolutely. We always knew, when we immigrated to Canada is one of the friendliest countries. To Ukrainians, it's great to be Ukrainian in Canada. There's 125, I think, year history. We had a celebration of 125th anniversary of first immigrants arriving from Ukraine to Canada. I have quite a few, Ukrainian friends, Canadian friends who are Ukrainian descent, who are second, third generation Canadian, and the support is really overwhelming. The community has come together, it's been great. Both financial support and moral support, and humanitarian aid, you name it. I'm also sort of one of the privileged ones to have attended an international school, and I actually have friends all over the world, and I see that support globally from Uruguay to Australia, and everywhere in between. It's really the whole world has come to Ukraine's aid, and we're always grateful. And there's always definitely more that needs to be done, but we are very appreciative, and we are grateful for all the support that has been shown so far.
Thank you both for joining me today. And Yuri and Dennis, I hope you feel you can reach out anytime. If there's any updates or anything you want to share, please reach out to us here at City News, okay?
Yeah, totally. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yuri Kolomidas and Dennis Karpov, Ottawa residents, family living in Ukraine. Heartbreaking to hear their story. Stay with us here on City News.